2020 was one of those years. Started out in March where I was playing hockey and dislocated my shoulder, shattered the socket, then went into emergency surgery, was in an immobilizer for 12 weeks. 5 weeks into it, developed blood clots on my lungs. And then just after I was cleared for getting back to life as normal, 2 days later got kidney stones. And shortly thereafter had a urinary tract infection that started heading for my organs, went into surgery for that. And my blood pressure bottomed out. My heart went into AFib, spent the night in the hospital after an ambulance ride. And then they shocked the heart back into sync. And then from there, we went into some other things that were happening in our lives. Microwave broke, had to be replaced. The wash machine broke down, had to be replaced. The car broke down, had to be replaced. And then things got serious where we learned that Gail has breast cancer. And so as we've been going through this whole scenario, it's been an interesting ride. Gail's cancer was an aggressive type that is at stage 3, but the doctors believe that they'll be able to take care of it. And through all this, we've been looking at different verses, but one that really hit home was out of Philippians 3:1. It says, "Whatever happens, my dear brothers and sisters, rejoice in the Lord." It's not when things are going good, rejoice in the Lord. It's whatever happens, both good and bad. And we've come to learn that God is in control, that he still loves us, and that no matter what's going on in our lives, that we can look to him to guide us and to give us direction. Thank you.
Steve and I are very grateful and thankful for the way that God provided for our entire family during 2020. We've all stayed employed, and none of us have gotten COVID, so we're very grateful for that. And as far as broken vessels go, I have to say God has blown me away with the way he has taken it in hand. We met once, and then COVID hit, so it could have never gelled. We could have fallen apart or just kind of faded away, but that's not at all what has happened. He has knit us together in a very intimate way. We've been meeting via emails, lots of lengthy phone calls, and a couple of failed attempts at Zoom, but we have talked about people's personal journeys and encouraged one another in, diet plans and how to seek medical help right now when it's difficult to get appointments and stuff like that. But most of all, I want to say that I think God has really challenged us to take a look at where we fit into the world right now and just how the fact that we have chronic illnesses and are used to being home and segregated and oftentimes lonely, how can we encourage people that this is going to be okay? We're going to get through this, and you can do this. So I am blown away, once again, by the way God has knit this little group together, and can't wait to see what he does with broken vessels in the next year or two.
Hi, I'm Maria Hamilton, and the way that I was blessed in 2020 is Benjamin. He's the best thing I've ever done, and I'm super proud to be his mom. It's a lesson to me in humility and patience, and also it shows me just a little bit of how God loves us. Because I'd do anything for Benjamin, and all the more God for us and all of his people, and I get sacrificial love now. So that's my 2020 story. Best year of my life.
Good morning. We are Mike and Joe Lathrop, and we wanted to share with you about how God had provided for our family in 2020. We have several examples, but we wanted to share one about our daughter, who is 33 years old. Her name is Josika, and she is a missionary in the Middle East. And her main role there is to teach other missionaries how to speak new languages.
Yes, in fact, February of 2020, she attended a language conference which was held in Egypt. And because of COVID and all the restrictions, she was not allowed to travel at all or to leave the country. And that actually went on for a period of 7 whole months. And so during that time, being a part of a life group, we've been a part of the same life group now for 10 years. Plus maybe a little. And we also have others in the church who would be praying for us and praying for our daughter during this time. And we're just so thankful that we could have that encouragement and support from our life group and our church.
Something really cool that God did this year for me was provide a really unique opportunity to enter into a mentorship relationship with an old coworker of mine who had reached out to me early on in the whole COVID pandemic. Her schedule opened up quite a bit, and she found herself really struggling and wrestling through some questions of assurance and just some other really deep theological questions about her faith. And because my schedule freed up a little bit as well, we were able to really spend some good time this past year meeting each week via Skype and talking through those questions and praying and really digging into God's Word together and finding her some answers to some really hard questions that she had. I also got to encourage her to get involved in a church that would help her grow and to continue to do so as she lives very far away from me. I did get to meet up with her once while we were traveling, which was also a blessing. But it's been so good to see how she has grown through this struggle and has found freedom in a lot of these areas. So I'm really thankful for God providing that opportunity.
As I think about the goodness of God seen in our lives this year, I could sum it up with one word. I think that's provision. He's provided for our family financially while we're going to seminary. He's provided for us spiritually with good friendships and fellowship with others. He's provided also, probably in a unique way, more opportunities for us to tell complete strangers about Jesus than any other year before. And I'm really thankful that God has used us and put us to good work in a year that's been hard for a lot of people. And, we're just really thankful. I think that's the summary of our year in a lot of ways, is we're thankful for what God has provided us with. We're thankful that He, for example, was allowing me to serve in a ministry at a church in Colorado in which I was able to share Jesus with some young people. One of those young girls actually accepted Christ at that Awana program, and she was baptized just a few weeks later and brought her whole family, which none of whom were believers, to the church with her. And I'm just excited about what God is doing through things like that, just His people loving one another, telling others about Jesus, and making the kingdom spread.
A good thing that God did. Riding a big horse at my friend's house and getting to ride it and having so much fun.
Faith, what was something good that God did?
And my first day, I was going to Grandma and Grandpa's house and be nice.
Oh, going to Grandma and Grandpa's house and being nice? Yes.
Hey Harvest, this is Tyler Summers. Some of you may know me, still a little bit new here, but I just wanted to say how good God has been to me in the year 2020 and 2021 too. It's so easy to get caught up in how terrible of a year 2020 was, but for me, God looked out for me and just took after me the entire year. I was able to keep working the entire year, which is something to truly be grateful. I mean, millions of people across the world can't even say that, and I'm just super thankful for that. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to move off to college and start my first year at Bemidji State like I thought I would. And I was really disappointed at first, and I was kind of mad at God. I wasn't going to be exploring this new city and making all kinds of new friends. Instead, I was going to be doing school in the basement on my laptop. It wasn't something to really be excited about, and most of my friends were moving off anyways because they were playing college sports. And I was mad at God, but I began to feel a little bit of a spiritual revival that just grew and grew. I became more involved in my life group. I became involved in Larry's life group leader training, and then after that I joined another Bible study with some friends in Becker, and it's just humbling to realize how God worked through a pandemic in a way that led me to desire him more and put him number one in my life. And that's something I needed to realize, but I didn't know I needed to realize it. And the way God did that was super cool. And I thought I had it planned out how I wanted my life to go, and then God said, hold on, we got something a little bit better here for you to do. And I'm so glad he did that, because honestly, I'm just so thankful for how he worked in my life in 2020 and how he's going to continue to work in my life in 2021. I'm just excited to keep learning more and more and spread his message now that I truly believe it in my heart, and I've put him number one in my life. I got this fire for God burning inside of me, and I can't contain it, and it's awesome.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm a combat veteran, and I suffer from PTSD and TBI, alcoholism, and addiction. About a year ago, I got a couch and a card from Pastor Larry. I didn't know it at the time, but I needed that card. Well, it just so happened that the card Larry gave me was still stuck to my fridge when I hit rock bottom and needed it the most. I found Harvest Fellowship on YouTube, and I haven't missed a Sunday. I started reading my Bible every day, and I started doing Bible study plans on YouVersion Bible app daily. My life is growing in ways I didn't think possible. I have 8 months of sobriety now, and I'm continually telling friends and family about Harvest Fellowship and how that card from Larry has changed my life. That's my Wow God story.